Now, Katy Perry, Lady Gaga and Rihanna, they're all queens of Twitter with more than 138 million followers between them. But now there's a new queen on the block. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth has sent her first tweet, opening a major new gallery at the Science Museum, and she signed it off, Elizabeth R. This report from our technology correspondent, Rory Cellan-Jones, does contain some flash photography.
Her reign has seen the way we communicate transformed. Today, the Queen came to see the story of those changes. Like Britain's first major television event, her own coronation. And to mark the opening of the Science Museum's Information Age Gallery, Her Majesty used the technology of the moment, sending her first tweet. The new gallery tells the story of communications from the age of the telegraph and the first telephones to the birth of the World Wide Web. Here's the computer which hosted the first website. Along the way, visitors get a reminder of how things used to be when a telephone operator had to put your call through.
You couldn't just chat to anybody, and the thing you never did was say hello.
This interactive exhibit involves you building a mobile phone network like the first in Britain 30 years ago. And like the rest of the gallery, it's intended to show just how radically communications technology has changed our lives, from the telegraph to the smartphone.
So we really want visitors to think about the digital revolution, the transformations that are happening now, but to think in the long term, actually our predecessors lived through similar periods of transformation and change, and that ours isn't the only revolution, it's just the latest.
How does your computer know where to look?
The role of great British inventors like the father of the web, Sir Tim Berners-Lee, is also emphasised. One early visitor hopes that will send a message.
I hope if people visit here, then maybe their ambition and excitement will be lit so that we can continue to be world leaders in this stuff, because it's just so important.
Also on display, the equipment used in the BBC's first radio broadcast in 1922. The Queen, who sent her first email in 1976, has now made another step into the digital era. Just how keen she'll be to keep on tweeting remains to be seen. Rory Cellan-Jones, BBC News at the Science Museum.
Well, with me in the studio is Alex Wood, the editor-in-chief of Tech City News. That's a London-based website covering technology and innovation. So first of all, what do you make of this?
Well, I think for many people who've been using Twitter, they might think this is not big news. Twitter's been around for a long time. But actually, I think it's a great example of the Queen, yet again, and the royal family engaging with technology and also younger people.
Have they been doing it up until this point?
Well, many people may not realise, but the Queen's something of a pioneer. As early as back in the 1970s, the Queen sent her first email. They've been engaging on YouTube as well, podcasts, one of the first royal families to actually put the Queen's speech out there on the internet for people to find.
And for her to highlight the Science Museum and the new gallery there, how good is that to encourage people to go in?
I think it's a fantastic sign that you've got the royal family endorsing something, because this country, I honestly believe, is fundamentally changing, and a lot more people are becoming interested in technology. And a lot of people in Britain don't appreciate how much of a role the UK has actually played in developing technology across the world. A lot of the technology behind the internet wouldn't have been possible without some of our inventors in this country.
And what about the rest of the royal family then?
Well, it's not just the Queen. Even the Duke of York has also been involved. He's actually a regular face around the Tech City area around Shoreditch, and he's been involved in an initiative to get more tech startups to pitch in front of important people and help raise their profile.
When we talk about the Queen being on the internet and the Queen being on Twitter, it's not really the Queen, is it?
Well, we don't know that for sure, but we saw today, the Queen did press a button, and she took her glove off and pushed that button.
Yep.
But I think no matter whether or not it's the real person there, it's still, I think, a really positive sign to see that the royal family, an ancient institution, is engaging with new technology.
And we're seeing now the introduction of coding, for instance, in schools for very young children, and that whole generation, they're going to grow up in a completely different environment, aren't they?
Absolutely. A lot of people use this expression, digital natives, and we've got that now. We've got people who are growing up. You might have seen toddlers who pick up an iPad.
I see my grandson picking up the iPad and just automatically, it's almost like they know exactly what they're doing.
Exactly, and then sometimes you see them picking up a magazine and they start pinching it and expecting it to react the same way, and that's the kind of world we're going to be moving into. And so we need to get more younger people familiar with technology and ready to work in this new world.
Okay, Alex, thanks very much indeed. Alex Wood there.